this brings us to chapter 8 in our course on statistics, which will be the last one of the official course material. In this chapter, we will delve into identifying and quantifying the correlation between two variables. Now, this is a measure that indicates a possible underlying connection between these two variables. Now, in part 1, we will look at the Pearson correlation coefficient, which is a measure that quantifies this correlation between continuous variables. In part 2, we will look at how to handle correlation between categorical variables, so variables that come in buckets. Now, in particular in this chapter, the ability to be able to generate our own datasets and fine-tune them will prove extremely useful. We will be able to make figures that nicely showcase different datasets with varying measures of correlation. So for one last time, let's dive into the slides. The central challenge in this chapter will be to detect and identify, but also, of course, to quantify a possible underlying relation between two or more variables. Meaning, do they rise and fall together, or is it exactly the opposite way? If one variable rises, then the other one falls, and vice versa. Now, in essence, what we're trying to figure out is whether information from one variable gives us any information about the other variable, and vice versa. Now, let's look at some example questions that identifying correlation seeks to answer. For instance, do larger houses have a higher selling price? Or do students who study more hours have a higher GPA in the end? But also, are married people more likely to be employed? And are girls more inclined to like math than boys? Now, these are all questions that you regularly see circulating in the media and society as a whole, and for which most of the people have an intuitive answer or a hunch. However, the only way to really answer such important questions is to look at the data and to perform sound statistics. Now, also note that all of these questions seemingly have a yes or no answer, which leaves little room to express uncertainty. Now, of course, the beauty about statistics is that we can quantify our findings and thus provide our answers, yes or no, with a level of confidence. Now, before we dive into the statistics, observe that these questions, and there are more examples in the course notes, can be divided into two groups. Namely, there are questions about continuous variables. For instance, dollars spent, or number of hours studies, BMI, duration, these are all continuous variables. On the other hand, we have questions about categorical variables. These are variables that are bucketed or even binary. For instance, we have active, non-active, married, unmarried, and employed and unemployed. Now, this is a very fundamental distinction between these questions about correlation, which require two distinct ways of solving, meaning that each category requires its own methods of quantifying and identifying the correlation between these variables. Now, as mentioned in the introduction, in this first part, we will focus on the first category, namely the correlation between continuous variables. And there we will learn about linear correlation and the Pearson correlation coefficient. Now, in later lessons of this chapter, we will focus our attention on the correlation between categorical values. But before we do so, a quick and also mandatory note about correlation versus causation. Now, I am sure that everyone is aware that correlation does not imply causation. However, you would be surprised how many people suddenly forget this central idea whenever it suits them. For instance, when trying to be persuasive in an argument, or even the media reporting on scientific findings. So that's why I thought it was mandatory to also include just a few words about this central idea in this course on statistics. So let's look at an example and consider the scenario where we found that marriage is correlated with employment. So this means that there is a relation or connection between being married or not and being employed or unemployed. So how do we explain this connection? Well, there are in fact a number of underlying reasons that could explain this correlation. However, most people just pick one of them, whichever suits their narrative best, and then discard the other ones. So let's look at what are some possible underlying reasons. The first is that there is indeed a causal connection between the two. However, because we only found correlation between the two, this causal connection could go both ways. For instance, a first one could be that if you are married, then you have more responsibilities to provide for your spouse and your children. And thus, the stakes of finding a job and maintaining a job are much higher. And thus, being married causally links to being more employed. But it could also go the other way around. If you are more employed, then you find yourself more often in a setting with more social contact. And thus, meeting more people, you are more likely to find your future spouse. Now, therefore, employment is causally connected to marriage. So in this case, the causal connection could go both ways. However, there could also be no causal effect between these two whatsoever. Marriage not causing employment and employment not causing marriage. Instead, there could be a third reason that causes both of them independently. Now, this third underlying reason could, for instance, be a booming economy. Now, we know that a booming economy makes it so that people are more hopeful towards the future. And if people are more hopeful towards the future, they are more likely to get married. On the other hand, a booming economy means, of course, that there is more money going around to find work. And therefore, a booming economy means larger employment. Thus, in this case, our correlation between marriage and employment was caused because both of them had an underlying same reason. And this is also a valid possible explanation for this correlation. Of course, there is also a third reason, which most people don't like to admit. It could, of course, be pure coincidence that married people are more employed, or employed people are more married. This is always a possibility. So here we see 3 or even 4 possible reasons for the underlying correlation between these two variables. And therefore, it is very clear that the correlation that we observed does not necessarily mean that there is a causal connection between the two. So with that out of the way, let's now look how to quantify the correlation between two continuous variables.